I'd like to call this meeting of the Wausau Town Council to order. We appreciate everyone being here tonight, and Mr. Phillips, pastor, was going to do our invocation tonight. It's a courtesy to him, and he's not well, so I think we have a perfect substitute. His sister, Miss Cindy Pettis, is going to come. Would everyone please stand for the invocation, and the man standing for our pledge of allegiance.
I appreciate you asked me to do this, and I'm very excited. This is just another step in a family tradition for us. My grandfather was a city councilman, my dad was, and mayor also, and now my brother. So I'm very proud and excited to see what's going to happen for this city through our family heritage. Let's pray together. Father, I love you tonight, and I just thank you for the privilege that you give us in the United States of America to serve in these type of capacities. And I ask you tonight, God, for this whole panel, that there will be wisdom, there will be good judgment, there will be civility. And I ask you, God, that you would just touch each of us and let us understand how precious you are to us for what you have done. We ask you to bless this meeting and this time together, and we'll give you the praise in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you're here tonight and would like to speak to the council later in the meeting, we have a sign-in sheet. If you'll come do that, we'll be able to recognize you and know that you're here tonight to speak on whatever your subject, whatever your area of concern might be. Tonight's going to be Mr. Walksonham's last evening for this term on our council, and we have to do 2 or 3 things before we change. We need to adopt minutes and things like that. Our new council person is not here to be able to approve these minutes, so we're going to do that. And then just a few minutes, we're going to have the swearing-in ceremony and the reorganization of the council. All right. If you've had the opportunity to read your minutes and consider them, the consent agenda is the approval of the agenda that follows our minutes, our financial statements, and the minutes from the fire department. What's the pleasure of the council?
I make the motion to accept.
There's a motion to approve the consent agenda. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? How do you vote, Ms. Carter?
Yes.
Mr. Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Reitenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Walksnail? Yes. And the chair votes yes. And I believe with that, we can excuse Mr. Walksnail. Is that right? No? We're fixing. Okay. Judge Adam Register, we're so glad to have you tonight. Judge Register's certainly been a friend of the city over the years. This is not his first time here to perform a similar ceremony, but if you would come, and our new council persons, our newly elected council persons, Mr. Phillips and Ms. Reitenberg. Huh? Okay, Ms. Reitenberg.
I think we're going to swear Ms. Reitenberg first.
Okay.
And did you?
Do you want to hold the Bible?
We're going to draft you to come up here and hold the Bible.
Yeah.
Sorry, you will stand right there and hold the Bible. And Ms. Reitenberg, if you would at this time place your left hand on the Bible. We practiced this earlier. Raise your right hand, and if you would repeat after me. I, Shirley Reitenberg,
I, Shirley Reitenberg,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support,
protect, and defend
protect, and defend
the Constitution and government
the Constitution and government
of the United States
of the United States
and of the state of Florida,
and of the state of Florida,
that I am duly qualified
that I am duly qualified
to hold office
to hold office
under the Constitution of the state,
under the Constitution of the state,
and that I will well
and that I will well
and faithfully
faithfully
perform the duties
perform the duties
of the Wausau Town Council member,
of the Wausau Town Council member,
on which I am about to enter,
for which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank
And thank you for serving. Mr. Phillips. Mr. Phillips, if you would place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Joe Phillips,
I, Joe Phillips,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support,
protect, and defend
protect, and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
and government
and government
of the United States
of the United States
and of the state of Florida,
and of the state of Florida,
that I am duly qualified
that I am duly
to
qualified
hold office
to hold office
under the Constitution of the state,
under the Constitution of the state,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
perform the duties
perform the duties
of the Wausau
of the Wausau
Town Council member,
Town Council member,
on which I am about to enter.
on which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for serving. Thank you. Very good.
Mr. Phillips?
I'm gonna grab my phone. Apologize for not being organized. Already switching.
We're going to reorganize the council in just a minute, but just before we do, we have a presentation that we will make. Mr. Wausau, would you please come back up just for a moment? We want to make a small token of appreciation to Mr. Wausau tonight. He came on the council 4 years ago. This was his second rodeo. I guess it was probably in the 80s, maybe further.
70s.
In the 70s. He served our town and did a wonderful job, and he came again. I'm not sure that there was a lot that's changed in operations and all like that, but certainly the face of the city has changed over all those years. And John, on behalf of the town council, we want to present a certificate of appreciation for your service to the town, and we look forward to calling on you again sometime. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
If everyone will please test your microphone, we're doing the adjustments before the meeting, and let's make sure we're all on tonight. We have a little bigger crowd than we do sometimes. Check. Okay, Joe's
The
not.
screen, it should be on.
It's not here much volume at all. I'll do volume.
Oh, yeah. Something about how it's happening.
Don't pull it up high, probably.
Check. I don't think mine's on. I'm tapping it.
Yeah, please.
It's number D.
Has it got D on it?
Yes, sir, dog. That's it right there.
Yeah, are they all identified? Can you do that?
Yeah.
Check. Okay, thanks. There we go.
Okay. Okay, if you do not hear us, please raise your hand. We will try to adjust that. We may need to take, Madam Clerk, they may need to take every one of them one by one and do a ABCD if they haven't, and then put a matching number on those or something, okay? Thank you so much. It's time for, according to our town charter, we reorganize the town council every year, for every 2 years after the election. So you're going to choose a mayor and a vice mayor tonight, or assistant mayor, in just a moment. Our charter calls us to do this after the elections, and there's something else I needed to say about that, but escaped me. So, Mr. Carter, would you chair that, or do I continue to chair this, like I ask for nominations, or
You continue to chair.
okay? All right, it's time for us to reorganize the council for the next 2 years. We'll be choosing a mayor and a vice mayor. We will now open the floor for nominations for the office of mayor.
I nominate Roger Egan.
I second that.
We have a nomination and a second. Is there any other nominations?
Move the nominations closed and call the question.
Question's been called for. Mr. Park, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Reitenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. We will now open the floor for nomination for vice mayor.
I'll nominate Joe Phillips.
We have a nomination.
I'll second.
We have a nomination and a second. Do we have any other nomination? Nominations are closed. I will accept that. I will accept the motion and the second. I will accept the nomination and the second as a motion. Is that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. Reitenberg, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Carter? Yes. Mr. Carter?
Yes.
The chair votes yes. Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Okay, that's unanimous. I would like to say thank you. There's lots of things in my life that I've enjoyed, but none except preaching. I don't suppose any better than being the mayor of the town of Wausau, or the town council. Mr. Phillips, would you like to address the council or the audience?
Don't have much to say. Don't know what to say yet. I'm still green at this, but thank you for the opportunity to serve and looking forward to being in partnership with these 5 people.
So far, it's the most fun you ever had.
Absolutely.
All right, you have the, yes, we want to take about a 15-minute recess here. We have some refreshments and all to honor Mr. Walsingham and to congratulate Mr. Phillips and Ms. Reitenberg. If you will, just help yourselves. Let's keep it to 50 minutes. We do have a busy agenda tonight, but we'll come back. Well, it's about 12 after. We'll come back at 5:30. We'll reconvene at 5:30. So get you cupcakes and coffee and whatever we have over here, and we appreciate those that prepared for us tonight. So take a recess until 5:30. We'll come back at 5:30. We'll call the meeting back to order. Again, our congratulations to Ms. Reitenberg, Mr. Phillips, and our appreciation to Mr. Walsingham. Picking up on the agenda audience. First on our agenda audience is Mr. Sims with Newberry Engineering to talk to us about grant updates and the SCOP 2027. 2027? That's 2 years out.
Good evening, Commissioners. Congratulations to you too. Look forward to working with you guys. Let's see, let's start off with the FDOT grants. So Jefferson and Jackson, which are the 2 road projects that were awarded. We got confirmation today, Lynn did and I, that DOT has approved the plans and the specs and our cost estimate, and so we are good to go to advertise as soon as we get in some certification memos, which I told DOT we'll get to them on Monday. I guess Monday may be a holiday, so it may be Tuesday. It's got to be on the town's letterhead, and I told Ms. Lynn I'd get those to her ASAP to get those in so we can advertise that Jefferson and Jackson. That's 2 roads that were funded, I think, last cycle that now we're ready to put out for bid.
That will be in the next 2 weeks.
It should, yes, sir. Should be. I guess as soon as we get those memos in, I will wait for confirmation to advertise. That will be on DOT's timeline then, Mr. Mayor. But I would think 2 weeks would be plenty of time for DOT to approve that.
Okay, next questions?
Sure. Yeah, look, you want to do it by each?
I was going to slow down just because if there were questions by the new commissioners, I would like to answer those if there are questions.
Sure, I was going to ask, will the bid documents that we're receiving here, will they change dramatically after you receive their approval? Or would there be any reason why we couldn't do that in parallel to go ahead and get that moving from you?
You talking about advertising both at the same time?
Are we going to be actually advertising it and you'll providing us the documents? Is that
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes, sir.
So
I
the
will have-
documents we would need, could we go ahead and get those do we need to wait until that comes? I mean, she can wait to advertise, but do we need to wait to get you moving on the documents?
On the memos that I'm talking about?
No, you said
The
you
bid
would-
docs.
Yes, bid docs.
Yeah, no, I would wait. So once I advertise this, I'll bring those back to the board and really Miss Lynn can keep them. We'll open them here and Miss Lynn can keep those.
Oh, so you'll be doing the advertising?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you for
Yes.
the clarification.
Sorry, and then maybe I misunderstood. Yes, I will help. So Miss Lynn will put the advertisement out, but I will put all that together. All she's got to do is get the advertisement to the paper.
That's what I'm trying to talk about right now.
Okay.
You getting all that together.
Yes.
I know sometimes in the past, we've had difficulty getting those bid documents that we need to put our advertising together. So
I will do that.
can you go ahead and start that now? Do you have to wait to get,
No, I can start that now.
okay, that's what I'm asking.
I'm
if you
sorry,
wouldn't
I
mind.
can start that now.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yes,
Sorry,
sir.
I'm not
Nope.
exactly yet sure how to use the terms.
No,
so-
no, you're good. You're
Thank you.
good. No, I will, matter of fact, I want to say they've already been completed.
Okay,
I'm waiting on DOT to give me the green light and we can put it in the paper and advertise it.
So will it be the February meeting, we'll have to accept those bids?
If we can get it in by then, depending on how quickly DOT will give us the green light to approve, yes. Those memos.
Mr. Carter, rather than waiting to come back in another month to do that, can we authorize the advertising now contingent upon? And
I don't know that maybe it's necessary, but I think you've already done that in the past and you accepted this, so I don't think you have to make a motion, but
I mean, if you want belt suspenders, but that's correct. I mean, it's already been authorized.
that's right.
So we won't need to approve it in the February meeting?
No, we can approve the bids in February if we can get them back in time. That's just going to be contingent upon DOT. You
I want to
giving
make
us
sure we
the,
didn't have to wait another month to advertise and then another month to open it.
no, I don't need your approval to advertise unless you want to make a motion, but we're good. Y'all have already y'all accepted these. We can go ahead and advertise as soon as we're ready, as soon as DOT gives us a green light.
So what you're saying is when we accepted you as the engineer, we basically gave you the authority to.
When you accepted this grant from
bid
DOT.
package.
Project.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
And if you want to make a motion to make these of mine, by all means, you
And that's
can.
real easy. Anytime there's a question,
That's-
no problem getting an additional vote on a specific item that's part of the overall project.
I like
That's
that.
right.
before we move to that motion, I want to clarify some terms because we keep changing pronouns and I want to make sure that we're clear. So the actual putting it into paper, will that be your responsibility or the town clerk?
Town clerk.
Okay. So the documents that would allow her to put that into paper will be receiving from you.
Yes.
Okay. So the creation of those documents, does it require that you get the memo from the state for you to begin to prepare those documents? Will anything change after you get that approval from the state?
No, sir.
Is it appropriate then for you to go ahead and begin that so that as soon as the state sends your approval, those will already be in our hands, ready to move? I just know that in the past, we've had some difficulty with that delay between to get.
I don't guess I know what delay you.
Well, let's just make sure there's none this time. I want to make sure there's none.
I got
Right.
you. So these memos have nothing to do with advertising. These are like utility, roadway, railroad. They're very simple memos that basically stating there's no railroads within the roadway, there's no utility conflicts of that nature, there's no permits necessary. So these memos don't necessarily require to be in those bid docs, if that makes sense. So we're good. So the memos, once they're approved by DOT, we can put this out for bid. And the only thing that this town will have to do is take my advertisement that I will fill out to its entirety and send it to the paper.
Okay, thank you. Very, very clear. That last document you just mentioned, the bid doc which you will fill out in its entirety, can that be filled out as soon as possible and be held by our clerk in preparation for you receiving the memos? Just trying to cut down that timeline as close as we can. Is there any reason why you can't go and provide those?
The bid docs, you want them now?
Yeah,
Yes, I can send those.
yeah. I'm just saying from a scheduling standpoint.
Let me
though-
review them, but yes, I can send those Monday or Tuesday of next week,
Thank you.
and she can have those
Appreciate
bid docs in hand
Yeah,
with as well as the plans.
yeah. Thank you for continuing to
Yeah.
talk through it so I could
Nope.
get the terminology.
And if maybe I've confused you or we've confused each other,
No.
get my number and we can have we can
No,
talk
clear.
about it even outside of this meeting. If
Thank you,
there's
appreciate
questions that arise, don't hesitate to call me.
And that'll be for both of those?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. And sorry if I wasn't clear, Mr. Phillips, maybe I wasn't exactly clear.
That's
And
good.
again, if there's confusion, later in the week or next week, just give me a shout and we can
I
talk about
appreciate
it.
Any other questions on Jefferson and Jackson? In your opinion, we're gonna have this done before October 31st?
Yes, sir.
6:30.
This is
I've got an
June 30th.
extension, June 30th, it has to be completed.
Yes.
Oh, that's just 24 anyway, yeah.
Yes.
We'll be through by June 30th.
And if we're under construction for any matter, let's say we have flood events that push the contractors back several months, and this is, again, that's a crazy hypothetical, we can get an extension if we're, but yes, we should be done by June. But if not, we can get another extension. We will be fine.
Okay.
When we realized we weren't gonna make the 10/31/2024 deadline, we asked for an extension.
To June of June
Yes,
30th
up to June 30th.
of 25.
I guess it concerns me, and it's a note that I will ask on almost everyone, I guess it concerns me, is that, this was, the agreement period was in 23, and it's 25.
So you got your agreement in 2023, and I don't think you got an award to even start until 2024, if I'm not mistaken. But yes, we will be done by June of 2025, of what the current deadline is. We should meet that.
Okay, then the chair will accept a motion tonight that as soon as the clerk has the bid documents in hand, and Mr. Sims notifies her, she can advertise without us, without having to come back to the council. Is there a motion?
Make that motion.
We have a motion, is there a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second, any discussion on the motion? How you vote, Mr. Phillips? Ms. Feinberg?
Yes.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Okay, sir.
The next one is the well number 2 out at Possum Palace. We're currently about 90% on those plans. And that's one that we will advertise as soon as we get, that's a Florida Commerce project. That was a CDBG DR, which is a disaster recovery. This is all linked to Hurricane Michael funding.
Hold on, Johnson, let me tell them,
Yep.
it's the M0106 on this paper, the very first one. Go ahead. sorry.
The numbers, I don't
I got
do it by numbers,
I got
but that's right, M0106.
Yeah.
So that one is, again, they were just replacing the pump out there at the well. There's been some issues in the past, and I even think now, Ms. Lynn has told me there's some issues with it going in and out. We're replacing that pump, and that's it. Replacing the generator there and bringing the old generator that is on site to City Hall is what Ms. Lynn asked me to do. So that's what's in the plans, is to bring it here, the old generator.
And this is where we discussed either the submersible or the above
Vertical
ground,
turbine.
and we did the submersible.
Vertical
We did
turbine.
the- We did it for, yeah, okay.
I would say, I hope you did not do submersible. It is vertical turbine. Yes, that's what's there now. That's what's going to be the most cost effective and most cost efficient, and that is what you need to get back with.
And the same question, will be through by 9:30.
Hope so. Should be, yes, sir. And again, I want to reiterate, this is a project that you probably had for 4 years. And environmental, which is what I'm not handling, took forever. I think Ms. Lynn can vouch for, and this is not just in Wausau, this is all over the CDBG Hurricane Michael funded projects, and Jeff may even want to chime in too, but the environmental, the environmental clearance that you need used to take about 4 months on these CDBG jobs, maybe 6 max. And I want to say this one didn't take this long in Wausau, but one that some admin guys did for me out of Gracefield took about 2 years. And so it is added, and
It's true.
I don't even want to get into it in this meeting, but I'm pretty sure the state understands these impacts of these environmental reviews that have taken really 2 years, and they're going to extend that deadline from September 30th, even pushed out to 26, 27. But at any rate, I don't think we need that. I think that we will be done well before the September 30th of 2025 deadline.
I did ask that, Jonathan, at the conference call this week, and they said because this is such a small project, we were going to have some very, very good reason
Well, we will be
if we
done.
needed the extension. They kept
Yeah.
saying, because this is such a small project.
Yeah, we
Such a small
will be
project.
done. And those environmental reviews took way longer than they should. And that's not by any stretch the town's fault or your admin's fault who y'all hired, which is Fred Fox. That's not their fault. That was Florida Commerce that they had some turnover, and it just took a long time. Point blank, these used to take 3 to 6 months, but now they took a year and a half, 2 years.
Where are we in terms of starting?
Florida Commerce will have to approve the plans, which we're at 90%. We talked about that yesterday in the team's meeting with us, and I would say hopefully by March, we can start advertising that job in March, and maybe by April, start construction, maybe even before.
And it may follow suit with the rest of it, but it sounds like it, getting started is the worst. It don't take long to do the work.
That's correct.
Getting started is.
But you got to go through the hoops with Florida Commerce. They just, there's hoops that they require, and I think Ms. Lynn can answer, any questions on that. It is their way or no way.
Anyone have a question on the well project? That's the first one on your.
I do, I'd like to get some clarifying. So, when do you think you will be at 100%? I'd like to kind of tie that down. When do you think you'll be at 100%?
Middle of February.
Okay.
There's a couple things left that we've got to do, but middle of February, I mean, we're roughly 90% right now. And so I would say, 2 to 3 weeks we'll be at 100%.
Okay. So it's like the middle of January today. Those couple of things, are they big constraints? Are they
No, sir.
administrative constraints?
No, sir. One of them is just, we've got to we got to know the depth of the well that's there now. We got to know where the water's at, the water level.
Yeah. Where will we get that?
To buy one of those tapes is about $3,500. So we're trying to see if we can't get a hold of Florida Rural Water, let us borrow one, or find one of our contractors that we work well with to get one to just test and see how far the water level is, the depth of the water.
Okay.
And I was going to get Mr. Register's cell phone number from you, Miss Lynn, so I can give him a call, and he may know that right off. He may have that answer for me without having to do any digging. It may be a quick call and get that answer.
Sure. Would you let us know if that constraint is, if you're not able to overcome that constraint? I'd like to make sure we don't let the simple things.
I'll get it one way or the other. I will find that, and that will not be an issue.
I just wanted, again, I'm new at this. I noticed that Florida Commerce came in last year. They did an evaluation. Was our environmental studies done in July of last year yet, or were they delayed? Do you know if they were already finished? When they came in?
They were not completed in July. I don't remember when they were
It
done.
was.
It may have been September, August. It may have been a little bit later than that. I don't recall.
Okay. I was just saying that their timeline was that once we advertised and got a bid, it would be 7 months to build. But you're thinking we could do it in under that?
A little bit quicker than that, yes, sir.
What's the number you're predicting?
5 months, 4 or 5 months.
And I get that's just a prediction.
Yeah,
You cannot state the future.
That's right. Or weather, weather permitting. I think they just arbitrarily threw a number at that, and that's a number from somebody that sits behind a desk that just, hey, I think it's maybe 7 months.
I can tell you, I'm concerned based on reading the communications from the state. I'm concerned about them being willing to extend this. I hope that you're.
Well, I think we'll be fine. I think by the September 30th, we will be fine.
Okay. Thanks.
Any other questions from Mr. Sims on project MO 106, the well down at that's one at Boston House? Okay, sir.
The next one is M0109. Did I say that number right? That's the 2nd Avenue project. We're also about 90% on that. That's just removing 2 cross drains down here on 2nd Avenue at the bottom of the hill where flooding. I've not seen it flood, but I think when this grant was put in, I think there may have been some issues with that over top of the road. Is that correct? Yes. So we've done an H&H study, and we're putting in. There's 2 pipes there now. We're putting in 3. So we're extending it from 2 30s or 36s. I think it's 2 36s to 3 32s. We're taking the 2 36s out and putting in 3 42s. I think it's the 32s. Putting in 3 42-inch pipes. So it will not only add a pipe, but they'll also all 3 be bigger.
Okay, and by the size of the pipe going up, the elevation of the road is going to be lifted?
No, if that plays an effect, we put elliptical, but no, we're fine. The elevation will not raise. I am going to mill that out, cut and patch all that, and build it back properly, and then put 2 inches of asphalt, feather it back, and tie back in on the asphalt where we cut out. We're going to cut probably 50 foot back on each side of those pipes and feather that back in and make it back to a smooth transition.
the history of that is when it was a dirt road, there was a wooden bridge there and the water come over the top of it.
How long ago was that?
1957, 58, and forward. That road was probably paved in the mid or late 60s, wasn't it, John? Some of these streets.
So back when it was a timber,
And it's
timber bridge.
been over the road with the pipes. Now, what you're saying,
Yeah.
I agree that would probably elevate some of the flow, but that road itself used to be higher.
Well, these pipes that's there now should help facilitate that water and keep it moving down the creek. And again, I've done an H&H study on it, and it's, it's doing a 25-year rain event, which we don't call those that anymore. It's I don't remember what they call it, the true terminology for it now is, but we've done what DOT has required us to do, and it's telling me to put in 3 42-inch pipes will help cover all that. And it's a big basin. I mean, if you go back and look at the basin that it covers, I imagine back when it was a timber bridge, it probably did overtop it.
I think the difference in the basin is between there and Pioneer Road is more grown up, and it may be obstructive.
Maybe.
My grandfather owned the property on the north side of that.
Yes, sir.
And it was in pasture, and that ran through there, and that's where his cows drank, and it could go through more quickly.
Yes, sir.
If there's a concern, his house grown up and all the undergrowth and things like that.
And from Pioneer to Second, there definitely the trees, and there's definitely a creek bed there that is filled with shrubs and trees. So,
Okay, anyone have a question on the M0109? 0109, that's right. Anybody have a question? Okay. Go ahead.
and then I don't know the number for this one either, but this is a CDBG MIT, which is another round of Hurricane Michael relief funds that is called not disaster recovery, but it was mitigation. In the town, we put in Oid and Cora Drive. Those are 2 dirt roads here as you go north, back towards the east, you turn up, and those are 2 dirt roads. I think they might total right at 0.6 of a mile, don't hold me to that. We are currently in the environmental review process, so there's nothing design-wise that I can do until that is complete. I don't even know when the deadline is on those, Ms. Lynn, but I'm sure they're not for
January 2027.
2027. And again, I hate to even be the bearer of crazy news, but at the end of the day, I don't know when this environmental review process will be complete. And once that is done, then I will be turned loose. And what I think I need to do, and Ms. Lynn, we just need to keep you guys informed when that is complete. And once that is over, then we can go get survey. And I could do it now. Let me back up. I could go out there right now and begin design, but I got to get survey and start design, and y'all have to start paying me, which I don't know if y'all want to get into. You can't get reimbursed until the environmental review process is over. And so in years past, all engineering firms would just wait because they only took 3 months, right? Well, now that they're taking these 1.5 years, year, 2 years, whatever, how long they're taking, it's dragging these out. So it's starting to put these deadlines into a pickle, puts the towns in a bad spot. Maybe once I know we're getting close to the environmental, I can turn my survey team loose and just hold that payment, just go out and turn them loose and get survey back. And just, again, not invoice the city until those environmental review processes are complete, and just hold that bill and just eat it till, again, the environmental review process is done. But I won't do that until I know, hey, it's definitely getting cleared, because if it doesn't, then I'm stuck with a $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 survey bill that y'all can't pay, and then you can't do nothing with it. So that's the predicament we're in, and I just want to make sure that's kind of out and open up front. I could start, but at the end of the day, you can't get reimbursed, so it's kind of a risk. If the environmental review were to come back and say, nope, y'all can't do this work, then I've got survey bill that I'm handing to y'all, and you get nothing out of it. So that's where, just want to make sure that was clear and make sure that was out there.
Anyone have a question?
How long do you think it's gonna be in environmental? No,
Miss Lynn, can I ask you when they started? I don't even know when Fred Fox started.
I think he said on the conference call this week, it probably be February or March, he should be done. They're
Okay.
really pushing us. They're holding us to task on
And
these
I-
3 grants.
And I think since we transitioned from the CDBG DR that took so long to now the CDBG MITs that were out a little bit later than these, I think maybe Florida Commerce is trying to get the ball rolling a little quicker than getting up to the normal, 4 to 6 months, even if it was 8 months or 10 months, but not the 2 year, one in Gracefield, literally it was 2 years. I don't know why, I don't know what that one took so long, and others were about 16, 18 months, but I think maybe they're starting to get some wheels spinning and get the ball rolling and get these things turned out a little quicker than they are for the CDBG DR projects, which is the disaster recovery, and this is a MIT, this is OID and CORE.
I have a general follow-up, but I want to make sure everyone's good with the Core Lane and Lloyd conversation. I just wanted to ask you, on these, does Dewberry have any risk if these grants are not completed and they withdraw their grant funding? Is there any risk from Dewberry in this? Is there any obligation contractually for?
I don't think there's any risk.
For Dewberry, there's not?
I don't think so. Jeff, are there risks for me to, I don't see a risk. I guess the only risk to the town is hey, you're not getting the funding, you're gonna stay with a dirt road. There's no really risk in both parties, I don't feel. I know you want the road, and obviously I want to do the work and pave it, but I guess if the environmental review comes back and says, hey, you're not getting this funding, you're not paving this road, well, y'all lose out on a dirt road, you don't lose money. And that's why I haven't started my survey and haven't started my design, so I'm not out any money. So, there's no true risk for both parties is the way I feel, but maybe I'm looking at it
No,
the wrong
that's
way.
good. So if we move this back up to the big general conversation, again, based on my evaluation of the communication so far, I feel like I'm a little more uneasy than you. Now, I'm new in this industry. I get it. I haven't lived through a lot of these. And so, we certainly have been paying Dewberry. Like, if that grant is cut off, or do we have to pay that grant money back that we've been extending to you?
I've not made a penny on that grant. I've not made any money on the
Oh, I thought we were paying
oil.
for engineering for the, no, I'm back on the water. and-
Oh, yeah, okay. I got you. I thought the oil and corp, I haven't built any for the oil and corp because I haven't done anything.
Yeah.
Because environmental was, even then, no, I don't think there's any risk.
Okay.
And
I feel like we're kind of at a disadvantage, right? Because we're kind of reliant on other parties who apparently have no real risk in this. So I'm just trying to make sure I understand how it
Understood.
plays. And again, I'm new at this.
Yep, nope. Questions are fair.
Maybe I'll get to be on some of those team calls because I'm concerned about it. But all right, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
And maybe just playing with words, but we don't have risk, but do we have liability?
I would say no, but Jeff,
Okay.
No, sir.
I don't want to speak for you, Mr. Carter, but
Well, our liability is we need a hardening and resiliency of our wells, and we won't get it. So there is. I'm not sure if risk, I'm not sure what the wording is. We won't have gained the advantage that we were hoping to gain to ensure the quality of water systems for our residents for the coming years. So that's my, I don't know if the word is risk or liability.
Yeah.
No, and what you said's fair.
And I think I'm trying to make the distinction is we have a signed contract. Is there liability in a signed contract?
Yes, sir, there will be some liability in any contract. As far as what we're talking about, the city having or the town having any liability other than what Mr. Phillips is pointing out, just your liability to your constituents.
That we didn't get to finish?
There's no legal liability.
Okay.
No,
Yes.
sir.
Or financial. Like if we've expended,
Fiscal, no, sir.
if we've expended $25 to your company, and we aren't able to, if they come up and say you didn't finish and we're not going to continue funding, we don't have to pay that 25 back to the state to say, hey, we're sorry we didn't get finished. That's what I'm addressing.
Okay, you're talking about the grant funding
Yeah,
itself.
it's being distributed right now, right? Some of it. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely invoiced for what the work we've done.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely. Not,
Yeah.
and rightly so. You should have.
The project has to get, it's got to get finished. That's what the grant's for. It's not just free money to the city for partial
That's right.
funding.
Okay,
It's a
that's what I'm trying to
complete
speak to.
project. Okay.
We've expended the grant has distributed funds. If they come up in September and we have not completed, and they aren't as generous as you're hoping they will be, I just want to make sure we kind of look at the future and know what our standing is. And that's all. And how do we determine that? I mean, y'all worked with grants your whole life, a lot, so more than I have.
Can I speak? I don't know that I've ever seen a grant take this long. I don't know that I've ever. DEO is
It's been some crazy times. I get it.
DEO is so overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And I didn't even say that at a public
Yeah.
meeting. It's I've never seen it. I've never seen it. Just the lack of. It's a public meeting, so I want to hold my tongue. But just the overall state at DEO is just out of control. And it may not be just them, and I'm not pointing blame at just them. It's just
I'm
they
sure it's
dumped
all
so much funding in these 8 counties that I don't think they knew the impacts it was going to have on Florida commerce at the time when they dumped the 782 million. How maybe that number's wrong, but 782 million into the 7 or 8 impacted counties after Hurricane Michael came through in 2018. And so it overwhelmed them, and that's why your environmental reviews have went from 6 months to 2 years. And that's why there's so many, you ask for this and slow to get the answer back. And so
There's not a commensurate growth in the administrative support, I guess you could say, over in Tallahassee to support that amount of money, the distribution of it, the accounting for it, the projects it's going to, the evaluation of those projects.
that's right.
You know, you got millions and millions of dollars, you didn't get hundreds and hundreds of new employees to help administer it. I mean, you got some, but these folks, I'm making excuses for, but they're just overwhelmed, is my experience with the other agencies and municipalities that I work with.
And you double that with COVID and people, that wouldn't work from home, and when they said, okay, well, we're coming back to work, they were tired. They said, I'm not going back to the office. I've been at home, I'm done.
I did ask that question on one of the conference calls, and if I understood it right, they said that the work has been done, would be able to be paid through the grant, but the work will stop at that point.
Okay. That was one of my main
Whatever,
concerns.
so
we're clear there.
If we're
And now
halfway
that,
through it-
yes, so let's just hypothetically say that, hey, we completed the design and it's not October, it's August the 31st. And they say, well, wait, you've completed the design, but your time's going out, you won't never build a well in a month. We'll pay you for the design, and then that'll just be a waiting, and then we'll go reapply for more funding. But again, I don't see that being an issue.
I'm going to join you and hopeful.
Yeah.
Being hopeful.
We will make it happen.
All right, thank you. I appreciate you
And
allowing.
I even feel like, let's just say we get started in April, and let's say it's September the 27th, and we got 2 weeks left to finish the job. Are they gonna come in here and say, guys, you have 2 weeks left because of X, Y, or Z, you've had 30 rain days, and so push it to right at the cusp of that deadline. You almost got your well, but you can't hook up the automatic transfer switch from the generator because time's run out. No, I think our legislators are gonna go back and fight for our counties, and they're gonna see this $780 million. It's gonna help these, constituents in your town and the constituents in the county and the surrounding counties that got this money. They're gonna make it right. There's no way they can. If they don't, it's gonna be bad. Because there's a lot of projects all over that's way worse off than y'all. Like Jackson County has one that they've not even started environmental on. Or maybe, I don't know if it's Jackson, some county. Somebody told me the other day, they've not even started environmental, and they're supposed to be done by September 30th. That ain't happening. Environmental's gonna take a year and a half. So.
Well, thanks. I appreciate you.
Your concerns are valid.
Yeah.
No, your concerns are valid, but
Thank you.
I don't foresee I don't foresee any big issues.
I've spent part of a lifetime denying that I was either an attorney or an engineer. But I do trust you both in your areas of expertise.
Yes.
Your answers have been reasonable, they've been based on experience and some things like that. But the last thing is the one that concerns me. We'll take any project, but I'll use the one that's kind of more visible. We're over here on Gordon Court. We've got a survey, we've got machinery in there, they've worked 6-8 months, they've got right of way clear, they've got some gravel or stabilized, and we've got some pipes in on the ground, and we run out of the deadline and say we ain't paying you for anything else. Is what Mr. Sims just said, is that your opinion also, that we're gonna have to call in our legislatures and anybody
It will
else?
turn off, yes, sir, at a certain point.
And it turns off and we're not finished?
But it's not,
We've got a problem.
I haven't seen the situation where they turn it off the next day. But if you've got one thing left to do, it's just going to be unprecedented. I've never seen it come down that close.
And I don't think it will this time, but,
I don't have an answer for that scenario because I haven't ever seen it. I just can't
What I-
imagine they wouldn't make it.
what I'm thinking at the end of the presentation, I'll ask you now, do we need to perhaps write to our senators and representatives or somebody like that and tell them what, not just our county, but other small counties are going through?
They're aware. They know. I mean, yes, if that's what you want to do, absolutely, but they absolutely know. This has been an issue, Miss Lynn, I think we've talked about this for 3 or 4 or 5, 6 months, and Fred Fox, the admin team that y'all hired to do the admin on this, this is no secret. It's out there that these projects are taking entirely too long to get engineers and to get your contractors started. The environmental process took forever.
Most often fear is the fear of the unknown. And so much of this is unknown, and you're afraid on this side that when we look back at over the years, the things that you've done on this council has handled and jurisdictions that you've represented, it never has happened. There's no reason for us to believe that it will happen. So we ought to just go along and smile and think it's going to be all right. But I don't want to be the first place that it does happen.
You don't want to be the example?
I don't want to be the example.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anybody else have a question? He's talking about the
Audit Corps.
Yeah, anybody else have a question on that? The environmental review is not started. This may save some time going down. Each one, my question is the same one. If everything else was done that somebody else is supposed to do, would we meet every deadline that's on here?
Yes.
If everybody had the environmental and everybody had the...
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yes.
If everybody else has to do something beside your firm, beside you, we could meet every deadline that's on here.
Yes, sir.
Not a scapegoat. Just somebody else's fault.
Yeah, somebody else.
Please go ahead.
I think that's all the ones he has, but you want to talk to me about Scott for 2027?
So the funding cycle's back open now. It allows for
What's this
the
paper?
town of Wausau to apply for one application to FDOT for a road. Maybe it's a series of roads. I've not done more than 2. But for funding for 2027 through FDOT and Scott. This is just a road that maybe you guys talk about and come back to the next meeting and have an answer for, but it needs to be on your radar to identify one road that we, under Ms. Lynn's guidance and I, put in through the M. Scott grant there at FDOT.
I can't remember, we chose last year Forest and something else, I don't remember the other one. I'll have it by next meeting though.
And is this resurface or new surface?
Resurface.
This is resurface.
Like 2nd Avenue, if that's one you chose, you could resurface. Hypothetically, just throwing in one out there from,
Second, right? Could we go from Jackson to Pioneer? I don't know.
or go from 77 to Pioneer. Are you talking about from Jackson? Yeah, you could. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sorry, I was thinking Jefferson, but Jackson, you can absolutely go from Jackson to Pioneer.
The piece in front of the Tom Thumb is bad.
If that's the wishes
It's
of
real bad.
the board.
It's one of the worst surface roads that we have.
And then this third right out here is real bad also.
There's hardly no pavement left on it.
Yeah, it's real
We can
bad.
start grading it again.
Yeah, you could.
So we just need to decide by next month which ones we want them to write for.
Would you please put that on the agenda? I think we may all think that's what we want to do right now. If you want to discuss it, we will, but if not, we certainly will make a choice and good career, is that good with everybody?
I'd like to include Third Avenue on that list.
Okay, anything else?
I think that's all yours.
That's it.
Don,
y'all.
you may have answered questions just in conversation. My conversation is the mayor to the clerk on when we need to sign anything like that. We'll come here sometime. It is how far behind we are. And we always want to find somebody or some, and you explained to us that tonight. But going forward, what do we do to keep from getting here again? If we got 3 years to do a grant, and you've explained the environmental, and I'm really not sure that I knew that it took that long. I knew that it was probably one of the longer parts of preparation, but if we got a grant and we got 3 years to get that grant done, that 3 years was based on something. That 3 years was based on somebody's estimate, whether it was the state, the engineer, or the council. So if we do that, and we come within 6 minutes of the deadline and haven't got anything started, there's something wrong with that. You can't start the shop on Christmas Eve and expect to have a very good Christmas morning. And I'm just concerned that we get these things and they said, all right, you have been awarded. Somebody gets their picture made, somebody gets right up in the newspaper, and the congressman or somebody gets to say what he's done for us and all like that, but then 3 years later, nothing's done. What can we do to keep that from happening going forward? Just talk about your firm. If somebody else, some other firm.
Well, I want to reiterate it, and again, 5 years ago, this was a non-issue. This was but the fact is, those the CDBG projects took forever. Not the town's fault, and not anybody's fault. They could not get clearance to turn anybody loose. So there was nothing. I mean, I literally sat for 16, 18 months waiting to be turned loose to go get survey. And then when you get turned loose to go get survey's backed up because now they all of a sudden have an influx of projects that push survey back, and then you push it. It was a domino effect throughout the whole area. When you have an influx of $800 million worth of projects, it is a domino of the wheels falling off the wagon is a term that I would use. It was so much for these small towns that we couldn't handle it.
And when we talk about doing the environmental, does DEP do that, or is it subbed out, or?
Fred Fox is doing it.
Well, but it goes through DEP.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Fred Fox is who y'all hired to do the environmental reviews, and they send them to DEP for clearance, and it's got to go through tons and tons of steps.
So he does that as part of the grant administration.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
He's done a lot of stuff for us over the years, but I need to be looking at somebody can do it and get it done.
He's on top of it. I mean, it's an intense document from what I can tell. And now, before they were looking at some 50-year floodplain, now they're having to do something about a 100-year floodplain, and he's on top of it. Every conference call we're on, he's on top of them.
And some of that's over my head. Some of that environmental is over my head. I don't know why it takes.
And the
way it
environmental is
takes.
separate from the historical and the.
No, that's all inclusive.
That's part of the environmental.
That's all the art.
Burial grounds or artifacts.
That's all part of that process.
Okay, anybody else have anything from any of the projects that Mr. Sims was talking to us about? And please understand, we're not questioning.
The questions are good.
We're gonna look out for the city and.
Questions are
consider
good.
the city money, it's coming to us from a source outside of the town, but.
This is not something that I've only had a conversation here. This is everywhere.
Okay.
This is other firms with other clients this is a real issue.
Okay.
I think Jeff's probably seen it in some other places that he represents, and we've got to get point blank some of these smaller projects. They've got to get out, advertised, and built.
Have I been rude or unkind to you?
Sir?
Have I been rude or unkind to you?
No, sir. No, sir. Your questions are valid. Again, this is an issue that's not just in Wausau. This is over the 8 counties that received millions and millions of dollars.
These that you gave us with these, is this kind of a breakdown of what you told us tonight and kind of an update of everything? We can take these from regional board our lecture. Ms. Reinberg, you have anything, Mr. Sims,
I do not.
Mr. Phillips? Thank you. Mr. Clerk, Mr. Horner? Madam Clerk? You have anything else for us?
I don't, Ms. Lynn, if you'll send me Mr. Register's, cell number, and you may have, and I just didn't say to resend that to me, and
Okay.
let me give him a call and get a few questions I got answered, and we're good. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir.
And council, let's not forget to come back with our roads, in next meeting. Now, other things that's on here, are you going to say those?